In life, challenges come in many forms, but one of the most complex and subtle is the way women test men. These aren't tests to humiliate or frustrate you. They're instinctive ways to gauge your strength, confidence, and emotional stability. It's something every man has faced, whether you realized it or not. Have you ever wondered why a woman suddenly acts distant after you showed vulnerability, or why she seems to push your buttons when everything was going perfectly? These tests can feel confusing, even unfair, but understanding how to handle them can change everything. And that's where Stoic wisdom comes in. The ancient Stoics, philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, taught principles that help us master our emotions, stay grounded in the face of adversity, and develop unshakable strength. These teachings aren't just for surviving life's hardships. They are also the key to passing the subtle tests women present. In today's video, we'll reveal how Stoic philosophy can empower you to navigate these tests with grace and confidence. If you've ever felt blindsided by a woman's sudden change in behavior or struggled to maintain control in emotionally charged situations, this is for you. You'll discover practical, timeless strategies to maintain your composure and earn the respect you deserve. But here's the catch: failing these tests doesn't just lead to rejection. It can erode your confidence, making it harder to bounce back. The good news? With the right mindset, you can not only pass these tests, but use them as opportunities for growth. Before we dive in, take a second to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. Trust me, you'll want to stay connected for more powerful content like this. And if you're serious about taking your self-mastery to the next level, stick around until the end. I'll tell you more about an exclusive training program that can transform how you approach relationships and life itself. But don't rush off to click the link just yet. Stay with me until the end, because what you'll learn today will set the foundation for everything that follows. Are you ready to master the art of handling female tests with calm, confidence, and control? Let's get started with the first principle: understanding the nature of these tests. When it comes to female tests, the first thing you must understand is that these tests are not malicious. They are instinctual behaviors, rooted in a woman's desire to assess your strength and emotional stability. Think of them as the fire that forges a sword. It's not meant to break you, but to see what you're truly made of. The worst mistake a man can make is to take these tests personally or react emotionally. Emotional outbursts, defensiveness, or validation-seeking behavior are all signs of weakness that immediately fail the test. But by applying the principles of Stoic philosophy, you can remain calm, rational, and ultimately pass these tests with ease. Stoic wisdom teaches us that control over our emotions is the key to inner peace and outer strength. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is the mindset you must adopt. When a woman tests you, the goal is not to react emotionally, but to respond with calmness and clarity. Let's break down what these tests look like in real-life situations. Imagine you're dating someone new and everything seems to be going well. Suddenly, out of nowhere, she starts acting cold and distant. What do most men do in this situation? They panic. They start sending more messages, asking what's wrong, or trying to overcompensate by being extra nice. This reaction only makes things worse. Why? Because it communicates insecurity and neediness, two qualities that instantly kill attraction. Now, how would a Stoic respond? A Stoic man recognizes that her behavior is a test of his composure and emotional independence. Instead of reacting with desperation, he remains grounded and confident. He doesn't chase validation or beg for an explanation. He gives her space, knowing that his value doesn't depend on her approval. This calm response not only passes the test, but also strengthens the relationship. Another common test is the classic jealousy trigger. Imagine you're at a party with your partner, and she starts talking to another man, laughing and enjoying the conversation. In this situation, many men would feel an immediate surge of jealousy. Some might confront her or sulk in the corner, hoping she'll notice their displeasure. But these reactions only reveal insecurity. The Stoic response: stay composed, engage in your own conversations, enjoy the event and trust your worth. If you've built a strong foundation of self-respect and confidence, you won't be shaken by external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Stoic philosophy also teaches the importance of mastering your frame, your mental and emotional state. This is crucial when dealing with tests because it's all about who controls the frame. If you let her dictate your emotions, you've already lost. But if you maintain your frame, staying calm and centered, you pass the test effortlessly. 1. Way to strengthen your frame is through daily practices of self-reflection and emotional regulation. Journaling, meditation, and physical exercise are all powerful tools that help you build emotional resilience. The more grounded you are in your own identity, the less likely you'll be swayed by external pressures. Now, let's address a more subtle but equally common test: criticism disguised as a joke. Perhaps she makes a sarcastic comment about your appearance or mocks something you said in front of others. This can be a tricky situation because your ego might immediately want to defend itself. But a Stoic man knows that true confidence doesn't need to prove itself. Instead of reacting defensively or getting offended, smile and respond with humor or a calm acknowledgement. This shows that you're not easily rattled and that you have emotional control. Two traits that women deeply respect. Remember, Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." In this case, craving validation or approval will only weaken your position. Handling tests with Stoic wisdom also means understanding when to walk away. Not every situation requires a response. Sometimes the best way to pass a test is to remove yourself from it entirely. If you're in a relationship where the tests become toxic or manipulative, walking away is the ultimate demonstration of strength. Women respect men who have boundaries and standards, men who won't tolerate disrespect. Epictetus advised, "Know first who you are and then adorn yourself accordingly." In other words, know your worth and don't settle for less than you deserve. Building emotional independence is another cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. When you're emotionally independent, you don't rely on others to validate your worth or make you happy. This independence is incredibly attractive because it signals strength and self-sufficiency. Women test men to see if they possess this kind of inner strength. Imagine a scenario where a woman cancels plans at the last minute without a good reason. A reactive man might express his disappointment or try to reschedule immediately, showing that he's too eager. A Stoic man, however, accepts the situation without complaint. He doesn't let it affect his mood or sense of self-worth. He moves on with his day, knowing that his happiness isn't dependent on external circumstances. Developing this level of emotional independence takes time and practice, but it's one of the most valuable skills you can cultivate. Start by identifying areas in your life where you're overly dependent on external validation. It could be social media likes, approval from friends, or constant reassurance from a partner. Once you've identified these areas, work on reducing your dependence. Another critical aspect of handling tests is staying present. Many men fail tests because they're too focused on past mistakes or future outcomes. Stoicism teaches us to focus on the present moment, the only moment we truly control. When you're fully present, you're less likely to be thrown off by emotional triggers. Handling female tests requires a deep understanding of boundaries. One of the most powerful lessons from Stoic philosophy is knowing where your limits lie and holding fast to them, no matter the situation. Boundaries are not walls to keep others out, but rather a clear definition of what you will and won't tolerate. A lack of boundaries leads to confusion and chaos in relationships, while strong boundaries create respect and harmony. Imagine you're in a relationship and your partner starts testing how far she can push your limits. Maybe she makes unreasonable demands on your time or disrespects you in public, expecting you to just go along with it. A man without boundaries would accommodate these behaviors, hoping to avoid conflict or gain approval. But each time he allows his boundaries to be crossed, he loses a bit of his own self-respect. And hers too. A Stoic man, on the other hand, understands that his boundaries are non-negotiable. He doesn't need to explain or justify them. If someone crosses a line, he calmly but firmly reinforces it. This isn't about being rigid or controlling. It's about protecting your own well-being and maintaining self-respect. When you consistently uphold your boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. This is one of the most attractive traits a man can possess. Setting boundaries also means learning to say no without guilt. Many men fall into the trap of saying yes to everything in an attempt to please the women in their lives, but constantly saying yes, especially when it goes against your own values or priorities, is a fast track to resentment and burnout. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Learning to say no is an act of self-respect. Now let's address another common scenario: emotional manipulation. This is a more serious form of testing, where a woman might use guilt, shame, or emotional blackmail to control your behavior. It can be subtle at first. A comment designed to make you feel guilty for spending time with friends, or a dramatic reaction when you assert your independence. Left unchecked, these behaviors can escalate and leave you feeling trapped and confused. Stoic philosophy equips you with the tools to navigate these situations with grace and strength. The key is emotional detachment, not in the sense of being cold or indifferent, but in maintaining your inner peace regardless of external circumstances. When faced with manipulation, a Stoic man stays calm and rational. He doesn't react impulsively or let his emotions cloud his judgment. Instead, he steps back, assesses the situation objectively, and responds in a way that aligns with his values. Detachment also means not taking things personally. This is easier said than done, especially when the tests feel like direct attacks on your character or intentions. But as Epictetus wisely noted, people are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them. In other words, it's not the test itself that matters, it's how you interpret and respond to it. When you stop taking things personally, you free yourself from the emotional roller coaster that these tests often create. Now let's shift gears and talk about the importance of self-control. One of the defining traits of a Stoic man is his ability to control his impulses and emotions. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It means acknowledging them, understanding their source, and choosing how to respond rather than reacting instinctively. For example, imagine a situation where your partner criticizes you in front of others. Your immediate impulse might be to defend yourself or retaliate, but reacting emotionally in the heat of the moment usually makes things worse. Instead, a Stoic man pauses, takes a breath, and responds with calm confidence, or sometimes doesn't respond at all. Silence, in many cases, is the most powerful response. Building self-control is a lifelong journey, but it starts with small steps. Practice pausing before you speak, especially in emotionally charged situations. Give yourself time to process your emotions and think about the best course of action. Over time, this will become a natural habit, and you'll find that you're able to handle even the most challenging tests with grace. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of self-reliance. While it's natural to seek comfort and validation, From others, relying too heavily on external sources for your happiness is a dangerous game. Women instinctively test for self-reliance because it's a key indicator of emotional strength. A man who is self-reliant doesn't crumble when a relationship ends or when he faces rejection. He understands that his happiness and sense of worth come from within, not from the approval of others. To cultivate self-reliance, start by developing a strong sense of purpose. What drives you? What are you passionate about? When you have a clear sense of purpose, you become less vulnerable to external influences. Your purpose acts as a compass, guiding your decisions and keeping you grounded during difficult times. Finally, one of the most powerful tools in handling tests is the practice of gratitude. This might seem counterintuitive at first. How does gratitude help you pass tests? The answer lies in perspective. When you cultivate gratitude for what you have, you become less affected by the ups and downs of life. You're able to maintain a sense of inner peace, even when things don't go your way. Gratitude also shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance. Instead of worrying about what you might lose, you appreciate what you already have. This mindset is incredibly attractive because it radiates confidence and contentment. Women are naturally drawn to men who exude this kind of positive energy. The next essential rule when dealing with tests is to avoid over-explaining yourself. This may seem like a small detail, but it's a common trap that many men fall into. Picture this. A woman questions your intentions or decisions, and suddenly, you feel the urge to justify every little detail. You start explaining, overcorrecting, and bending over backward to prove your worth. But here's the harsh truth. Every time you over-explain, you give away your power. Stoic philosophy teaches us that our actions speak for themselves. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. Marcus Aurelius put it best. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Instead of drowning in explanations, let your actions reflect your values and intentions. Remember, confidence lies in knowing who you are and standing by your choices without the need for excessive justification. Closely tied to this is the importance of controlling your need for validation. Validation is like a drug. It feels good in the moment, but leaves you craving more. When dealing with tests, seeking constant approval from women is one of the quickest ways to lose respect. A man who constantly looks for reassurance gives off an air of insecurity, and nothing kills attraction faster than insecurity. The solution: learn to validate yourself. You must become the source of your own approval. This doesn't mean becoming arrogant or dismissive, but rather developing a deep sense of self-worth that isn't dependent on others. Every time you catch yourself seeking external validation, pause and ask, why do I need this? The more you practice this self-awareness, the stronger your inner foundation becomes. Another crucial rule in handling tests is mastering the art of non-reactivity. One of the most challenging aspects of relationships is dealing with provocations and emotional tests. A woman might test your patience, throw a sarcastic comment, or deliberately challenge you just to see how you'll react. It's not malicious, it's instinctual. Women are naturally drawn to men who can remain calm under pressure. Non-reactivity is a core tenet of Stoicism. When you're confronted with a test, your first instinct might be to react emotionally, perhaps with anger, frustration, or defensiveness. But the Stoic response is different. Instead of reacting, you observe. You acknowledge the emotion without letting it control you. You respond with calm and clarity, maintaining your composure and asserting control over the situation. Practicing non-reactivity doesn't mean becoming a doormat or ignoring disrespectful behavior. It means choosing your battles wisely and responding in a way that reflects your strength and integrity. Imagine someone trying to provoke you. A reactive man might lash out, escalating the situation. A Stoic man, on the other hand, would remain unshaken, calmly addressing the issue, or sometimes saying nothing at all, letting the silence speak volumes. Now let's touch on emotional detachment. This isn't about becoming cold or unfeeling. It's about cultivating emotional resilience. Detachment allows you to maintain a sense of balance and perspective, even in emotionally charged situations. Women will test your emotional stability, consciously or subconsciously, to see how well you handle adversity. A man who falls apart at the slightest challenge sends a clear signal that he lacks emotional strength. Emotional detachment isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about understanding them and responding in a measured way. When faced with an emotional test, pause and ask yourself, is this worth my peace of mind? More often than not, you'll find that most things aren't as significant as they seem in the heat of the moment. Another powerful rule is learning to walk away when necessary. This might be the most difficult rule to follow, but it's also one of the most empowering. Sometimes the best way to pass a test is to simply walk away. When a relationship or situation becomes toxic, when your boundaries are repeatedly crossed, or when you find yourself compromising your values, the most stoic thing you can do is leave. Walking away isn't a sign of weakness. It's a declaration of self-respect. It's saying, I value myself too much to stay in a situation that doesn't align with who I am. Many men fear walking away because they equate it with failure. But the real failure is staying in a situation that drains your energy and diminishes your self-worth. The final rule for this block is practicing gratitude and appreciation. This might seem out of place in a discussion about tests, but it's actually one of the most powerful tools you have. When you cultivate a mindset of gratitude, you become less reactive, more centered, and more attractive. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. It grounds you in the present moment and reminds you of your inner strength. Imagine you're in a challenging situation, facing multiple tests at once. Instead of letting frustration take over, take a step back and reflect on what you're grateful for. This simple shift in perspective can transform how you handle the situation. It gives you clarity and helps you respond from a place of abundance. Rather than scarcity, gratitude also makes you more resilient. When you're grounded in appreciation, setbacks and challenges lose their power over you. You begin to see tests not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. This mindset is incredibly attractive and magnetic because it radiates confidence and inner peace. Building on what we've discussed so far, it's crucial to highlight another essential rule in handling female tests with Stoic wisdom: the art of maintaining personal boundaries. Boundaries are not walls meant to isolate you, but healthy guidelines that define how you want to be treated and what behavior you will or will not accept. Yet one of the biggest mistakes men make is compromising their boundaries to gain approval or avoid confrontation. Stoicism teaches us the power of self-respect and self-control. When you set clear boundaries and enforce them, you communicate that you value yourself. This is incredibly attractive and earns you respect, not just from women, but from everyone around you. However, if you constantly allow others to cross your boundaries without consequences, you send the message that your needs and feelings are secondary. For example, imagine a situation where a woman tests your limits by being disrespectful or dismissive. A man without boundaries might laugh it off or pretend it doesn't bother him, hoping to avoid conflict. But a Stoic man will calmly and assertively address the behavior, making it clear what is and isn't acceptable. He does this not out of anger or pride, but out of respect for himself. Boundaries aren't just about saying no to others, they're also about saying yes to yourself. They create space for you to grow, protect your peace of mind, and ensure that you're surrounded by people who value and respect you. If you're not used to setting boundaries, it might feel uncomfortable at first, but the long-term benefits are worth it. Closely related to boundaries is the principle of emotional independence. In many relationships, men fall into the trap of emotional dependence, relying on their partner for validation, happiness, or a sense of purpose. This is dangerous because it places your emotional well-being in the hands of someone else, leaving you vulnerable and easily manipulated. Emotional independence means taking full responsibility for your emotions and happiness. It means understanding that no one else is responsible for how you feel. When you cultivate emotional independence, you become unshakable. Tests and provocations lose their power over you because your sense of self isn't tied to external approval or circumstances. The Stoic way is to practice self-reflection and self-regulation. When you feel your emotions getting the best of you, pause and ask yourself, is this reaction helping me or hurting me? This simple question can prevent you from making impulsive decisions based on fleeting emotions. Another crucial rule in this journey is never sacrificing your purpose for a relationship. Your purpose is your guiding star. It's what gives your life meaning and direction. Yet many men abandon their goals and ambitions the moment they enter a relationship, hoping that prioritizing their partner will strengthen the bond. In reality, this often has the opposite effect. Women are naturally drawn to men with purpose and direction. When you abandon your dreams to focus solely on a relationship, you lose the very quality that made you attractive in the first place. Staying committed to your purpose isn't about neglecting your partner. It's about maintaining a healthy balance. It shows that you have a life outside the relationship, which makes you more intriguing and inspiring. The next rule is about mastering the art of detachment. Detachment is often misunderstood as indifference, but in Stoic philosophy, it's about recognizing what you can and cannot control. In relationships, this means not clinging to outcomes or trying to control how someone feels about you. Instead, you focus on being the best version of yourself and letting things unfold naturally. Detachment allows you to experience relationships without losing yourself. It frees you from the constant need for reassurance and approval. When you're detached, you can love and connect with others without becoming overly dependent or fearful of loss. It's a powerful mindset that creates space for healthier, more balanced relationships. Another critical rule is learning to embrace discomfort. Life is full of challenges, and relationships are no exception. Women will test your patience, your emotional strength, and your ability to handle uncertainty. If you shy away from discomfort, you'll miss out on opportunities for growth and connection. Stoicism teaches us to welcome discomfort as a teacher. Every test, every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen your character. The more you lean into discomfort, the more resilient and confident you become. When faced with a difficult situation, instead of avoiding it, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This mindset shift transforms obstacles into stepping stones. The final rule for this block is practicing radical honesty. Honesty is the foundation of any strong relationship, but it's also one of the most challenging principles to uphold. We often avoid the truth to protect ourselves or others, but in the long run, dishonesty only creates more problems. Radical honesty means being truthful with yourself and others, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about expressing your feelings and intentions clearly and authentically. When you're honest, you build trust and deepen your connections. More importantly, you stay true to your values and principles, which is the essence of Stoic living. Imagine a situation where you're tempted to hide your true feelings to avoid conflict. A Stoic man would choose honesty even if it's difficult, because he understands that authenticity is more valuable than temporary harmony. Honesty doesn't mean being harsh or insensitive. It means speaking your truth with kindness and respect. As we move into the final block of this transformative journey, it's time to dig deeper into some of the most crucial Stoic rules that will help you handle female tests with grace, strength, and unwavering composure. These last lessons will cement everything you've learned so far, giving you practical tools to maintain control in every situation, and most importantly, stay true to yourself. One of the most powerful rules you'll ever learn is the importance of emotional discipline. Emotions are an essential part of being human, but when they control you, they become a weakness rather than a strength. Women, just like life, will often test your emotional resilience, sometimes unintentionally, other times deliberately, to see how you respond under pressure. A man who can't control his emotions is easily manipulated, while a man with emotional discipline becomes unshakable. The key to mastering emotional discipline is understanding that emotions are temporary. They come and go like waves in the ocean. A Stoic man recognizes this and refuses to act impulsively based on fleeting feelings. When faced with an emotional test, whether it's frustration, jealousy, or anger, pause and take a breath. Ask yourself, will this emotion serve me in the long run, or am I reacting without thinking? Emotional discipline doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means acknowledging them without letting them dictate your actions. This approach not only makes you more resilient, but also earns you respect. People are naturally drawn to those who can remain calm and composed even in the most challenging situations. The next rule is learning to lead with your actions, not your words. Many men fall into the trap of trying to prove their worth through endless explanations and promises. But here's the truth: actions speak louder than words. When you live by your principles and let your actions reflect your values, you become a man of substance. Women respect men who do what they say and say what they do. Consistency between your words and actions builds trust and establishes you as someone who can be relied upon. If you promise to be there, show up. If you commit to a goal, pursue it relentlessly. This consistency is a core tenet of Stoicism. Living a life that aligns with your values and not being swayed by fleeting circumstances or external pressures. Closely tied to this rule is the power of self-reliance. In today's world, dependency is often romanticized, but Stoic philosophy teaches the opposite. The ultimate goal is to become self-reliant, not just financially, but emotionally and mentally as well. This doesn't mean you should isolate yourself or refuse help from others. It means that your foundation is so solid that even if everything around you crumbles, you remain standing. Women find self-reliance incredibly attractive because it signals strength and independence. A self-reliant man is not needy. He doesn't cling to others for validation or support because he knows he's capable of standing on his own. This confidence radiates in everything he does, making him a magnetic presence. Another crucial rule to remember is the art of letting go. Life is filled with situations and people who come and go, and relationships are no exception. Sometimes, no matter how much you care for someone, the best thing you can do is let them go. Holding on too tightly, whether to a relationship, a grudge, or an expectation, only leads to suffering. Stoicism teaches us that attachment to outcomes is the root of much of our pain. When you learn to let go, you free yourself from unnecessary burdens. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care without being consumed. You understand that life is ever-changing and that clinging to what no longer serves you only holds you back. The next rule is embracing the power of silence and observation. In the heat of an argument or when being tested, many men feel the need to respond immediately, to defend themselves or prove a point. But sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. Silence can be a tool for reflection, a chance to gather your thoughts and assess the situation objectively. Stoics were masters of observation. They believed that by stepping back and observing a situation without immediate reaction, they could respond more effectively. Silence allows you to see things from a broader perspective and avoid unnecessary conflicts. It also conveys confidence and strength, as it shows that you're not easily provoked. Finally, we arrive at the rule of self-mastery, the ultimate goal of every Stoic. Self-mastery is the art of controlling your mind, emotions, and actions to live a life aligned with your values. It's about knowing who you are, what you stand for, and refusing to compromise on your principles, no matter what tests life or others throw at you. Self-mastery isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about waking up every day with the intention to be better than you were yesterday. It's about learning from your mistakes, adapting and growing. It's about being honest with yourself and holding yourself accountable. When you commit to self-mastery, you become unstoppable. You no longer react to life, you shape it. Imagine a man who has mastered himself. He's calm under pressure, clear in his purpose, and unwavering in his values. He doesn't seek validation from others because he knows his worth. He's not afraid of tests or challenges because he sees them as opportunities to grow. This is the man you're striving to become, the man who lives life on his terms. As we reach the end of this powerful journey into Stoic wisdom and how it can help you handle any female test with strength and grace, it's time to reflect on everything you've learned. Each rule, each principle, is a tool you can use to sharpen your mindset, strengthen your emotional resilience, and elevate the way you navigate relationships. But remember, knowing these rules is just the first step. What truly matters is how you apply them in your daily life. The harsh truth is that life will always test you, and women, just like circumstances, are part of that test. These tests aren't designed to break you. They're here to reveal your true strength, to show you who you are when everything is on the line. The man who crumbles under pressure, who reacts impulsively or allows his emotions to control him, is the man who loses control, not just in relationships, but in every area of life. But the man who remains grounded, calm, and confident becomes unstoppable. This journey of mastering yourself starts with one thing: self-awareness. Every time you face a test, whether it's a challenge at work, a conflict in a relationship, or even your own inner doubts, stop and ask yourself, am I reacting or responding? Am I letting emotions control me, or am I staying true to my values? This simple reflection can change the entire course of your actions. The ability to pause and think before acting is what separates a wise man from a reactive one. Now, here's the critical part. When applying these principles, don't expect immediate results. Change takes time. Growth is uncomfortable. But every time you choose discipline over impulse, calm over chaos, and strength over weakness, you're building a version of yourself that few can match. This is what it means to embody Stoic wisdom. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about showing up every day and deciding to be better, stronger, and more resilient than you were yesterday. Let's go back to the idea of self-mastery, the ultimate goal of every Stoic. Self-mastery means taking complete ownership of your life. It means being the architect of your own reality, rather than letting external forces dictate who you are. When you have self-mastery, you stop seeking validation from others. You no longer crave approval because you know your worth comes from within. This inner strength is magnetic. It's what separates the truly powerful from the ordinary. Women, and people in general, are naturally drawn to those who radiate this kind of confidence and stability. Not because they're perfect, but because they're authentic. When you live by your principles, when you're unshakable in your values, you become someone others can trust and admire. This is the essence of attraction. It's not about tactics or tricks. It's about being a man of integrity, a man who knows who he is and refuses to compromise his values. Throughout this video, we've explored many rules and principles that can help you on this path. Some of them might have hit close to home. Maybe you recognized behaviors in yourself that you know need to change. Maybe you saw patterns that have been holding you back. That's okay. Awareness is the first step to transformation. Don't beat yourself up for past mistakes. Use them as fuel to move forward. And speaking of moving forward, here's a challenge for you. Starting today, pick one of the rules we discussed and commit to living by it for the next week. Just one. Maybe it's mastering your emotions. Maybe it's practicing silence and observation. Or maybe it's letting go of things that no longer serve you. Whatever it is, focus on it completely. Write it down. Remind yourself every morning. Reflect on your progress every night. You'll be surprised how much impact one small change can have on your life. But don't stop there. Once you've mastered one rule, move on to the next. This is how real growth happens, not by trying to change everything at once, but by taking consistent, deliberate steps towards your best self. Each step you take brings you closer to the man you want to become. Each choice you make shapes your character, your future, and your destiny. If you've made it this far, it's clear that you're serious about your growth. That's something worth celebrating because most people never take the time to reflect, learn, and improve. You're already ahead of the game. But don't let this be the end. Let this be the beginning of something bigger, a lifelong journey of self-mastery and continuous improvement. Now, if you're ready to take your transformation to the next level, I have something special for you. In the description and the first pinned comment, you'll find a link to my exclusive training. This isn't for everyone. It's for those who are truly committed to leveling up every aspect of their lives, mentally, emotionally, and physically. If that sounds like you, don't click the link now. Finish this video first, take in everything we've discussed, reflect on it. Then when you're ready to take action, that link will be waiting for you. And before you go, here's one last reminder. You are capable of so much more than you realize. Every challenge, every setback, and every test is an opportunity to grow stronger. Embrace them. Don't shy away from discomfort. It's where the real growth happens. Stay true to your principles, live with purpose, and never let anyone or anything take you off your path. If this video resonated with you, do me a favor. Leave a comment below and tell me which rule hit you the hardest. Was there a specific principle that made you stop and think? Share your thoughts. I read every comment, and I'm always inspired by the stories you share. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This channel is dedicated to helping you become the best version of yourself through the power of Stoic philosophy and personal development. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Finally, remember to share this video with a friend who needs to hear this message. You never know how much a simple share can change someone's life. Together, we can grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient, one step at a time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong, stay grounded, and always keep moving forward. The journey to becoming your best self never ends.